Okay, everyone. One of the things you are going to need to do in your gradebook is demonstrate that you know how to use the VLOOKUP function. What this does is it takes a value and then returns the value in another column based upon the criteria that you have. So I suggest you do this to automatically calculate letter scores in your gradebook. So in this particular example, the letter scores are just simply entered in the cell. That's not the purpose of this. What you want to do in this column, I added the function VLOOKUP, which tells the spreadsheet to take this value in cell E3, look at these values over here, and then return the value in column 2. Let me get rid of these for a minute and I'll show you something. So we have this formula in here and it's a VLOOKUP function and it's telling the spreadsheet to return the values in column 2 that match the values in this VLOOKUP table. What if I then use the fill handle to copy this formula down? So what we'll do is we'll drag it down. Well, it's not working. The reason it's not working is because, remember, by default, spreadsheets use a relative cell reference. So in this particular formula or function, you need to make sure that this array of cells is absolute. And you can do it a couple ways. Let's get rid of these. One way is you can easily, as you remember, you put the dollar signs in front of the row. So let's put it one here and the column in the row, and we'll do it in the next one as well. So there we go. We have that as this is an absolute cell reference. Another thing you can also do is you can just simply select your VLOOKUP table and go data and say named ranges. So you can name this range. It automatically defaults to a name named range 1, but you can call this letter scores, for instance, and save that. So if you wanted to, so you didn't have to fiddle-faddle with the dollar signs, which sometimes if your eyes aren't as good, it's hard to get them in there, you can simply, let's go ahead and erase this again. We'll start over. So we'll click in the cell, and remember all formulas and functions begin with the equal sign, and we can just start typing up VLOOKUP. Google Sheets automatically knows that, okay, here's one, so select that, and then we're going to use the value in this column, and you add a comma, and then we're going to add this range. So we're going to go ahead and click in here. And we're going to start typing in letter scores, and here it finds it right here. So click that, comma, and then return the values in column 2 and close it with a closing parentheses. And there's our letter score. So you can do it that way as well. You can either make the array of cells absolute, or you can name the range and use the named range. Now, when we drag this fill handle down, all of our letter scores are calculated correctly because Google Sheets recognizes that you want to use this same range of cells to make that calculation. That's all you need to do, and the VLOOKUP table can come in really handy for a number of things. Now make sure that the values in column 1 match these values in your column where you show the percentages. If, for instance, this is shown as a decimal point, but in your VLOOKUP table, it shows it as a percentage, it's not going to calculate it correctly. So you need to make sure that these match as well. So make sure you know how to use the VLOOKUP table. It's really, really important, and that is one of the requirements of this assignment.